I really used to hate opening my banking app, my Chase mobile app. Not because I was lazy or anything. I always had a steady source of income. I worked 2 jobs before, 16-hour days. But no matter what, it was never up to my standards. It never felt right. I've always had to, think about when the next bill's coming. And it's really just from the decisions I've made to put myself in this position. And, I try to cut myself some slack because there's just not things that we were taught. But if you're seeing this video today, it's your choice right now to make those decisions, to change the way that you not only see money, but the way that you use it. We've all been through that cycle. You get paid, rent's due, bills due, this and that. You want to save some, just whatever the case may be. There's always a cycle. Whatever 2 days out of the month, most people get paid, 2 days out of the month. And nowadays there's so much online. So every day you're seeing stuff like, maybe I should do this opportunity with some AI and, just do digital marketing. Oh, but then you see that guy that put $10 on a meme coin and made $3 million in 90 seconds. But then you're thinking about that time where you got burned. And so you don't want to take that type of risk, but that type of reward is what you're looking for. And it's not even to say those people that, hit big on those meme coins or whatnot, even keep it, because you still need money skills and you still need to know how to see money and how to use it. There's plenty of people that make millions of dollars and, end up going broke. And I'm just like, how? Because you need systems in place for things to be efficient over time. And that's the main thing that I started to really understand, that with everything, the focus should be, how does this result over time? The good habits we form, the bad habits we form, those have all developed over time from day-to-day actions, minute-to-minute actions, that is physical actions and mental actions. So not only the things you do, but the things you think to do or talk to yourself about doing. That internal dialogue, those habits that come from the internal dialogue we have with ourselves also influence how we think over time. At least for me, I don't remember even learning a single thing about money in school outside from math problems that may have talked about it in a way. And I think I maybe even had one class, like one time in high school. It wasn't something that was required. So it was never even something I even learned about in any type of way until I was, in my early 20s. And so growing up, everybody always tells us, work hard, right? But it's not so much about how hard you grind and how hard you work, but the systems that you put in place to be efficient. Because if you have 2 people, right, and person A, he's the grinder, he's the hard worker, he puts in the extra hours, right? And then you have person B who puts in half of the amount of hours as person A, right? But he produces more results, he produces more work because of the systems he has in place. Because he doesn't do the extra hours, he's not as hardworking, but he has systems in place that he's designed over time to be efficient and to produce more. Person B is going to be the ideal person that I would want to be, because that person has thought out a system to be efficient. So if person B were to work additional hours, he would produce twice as more in the same amount of time as person A. And that's simply from putting systems in place. And systems, that's just kind of a overarching term of what I mean for habits, thought patterns, just anything that is consistent over time and that just perpetual in nature, right? And it's just over time, you've done it consciously, you've done it subconsciously, just over time, you've formed systems within the way that you think, within the way that you handle emotions, how you handle pain, how you handle failure. Like all of that comes from some type of system that it's connected to. So in the same way, We have systems, with our mindset, with our paradigm, right? With the way that we think, the way that we process. With the same way we have systems there, we also need systems with our money. We need systems with our money. A system for what? What do you mean, Marcus? A system for what with my money? A system for how to grow it, how to keep it. But you gotta understand, when we're keeping our money, if it's not doing anything, it's losing value. Okay, I've been thinking that the statistics, like the U.S. dollar is like 90% less than it was worth in like 30s. Right, so it's lost 90% of its value since the 30s. Right, so if you just are keeping it, just holding it, not doing anything with it, it's losing value. And I don't care how rich you are, it's losing value. Right, and so we need to learn how to grow it. But when it comes to grow it, there's multiple ways to grow it. Like how do you grow it? There's multiple ways to grow it. And so you also have to remember long-term growth happens over long term. Yes, you can get rich quick. There are plenty people that have done it. It might happen to me. I'm not worried about it happening to me, but it could. Right? But I know over the long term, based on the systems I put in place, that it's going to inevitably happen. You know what I'm saying? And so when we're talking about growth, we have to remember that it's long term. And so there are so many different ways that we can grow our money, right? And so then we have to narrow it down. Okay, which ones are efficient? Which ones are empowering? Which ones have the most amount of scale, right? There's so many different things that we can think about when it comes to money growth. And trading is by far the most risk to reward return potential. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the amount of risk that you put into trading, it just requires one of the hardest things, and it's to change how we think about the money. And that's when it really started to change for me. It's when I stopped chasing the money, like chasing the income, chasing the highest paying job, chasing the highest paying thing or side hustle or cryptocurrency or stock or investment or anything. Just stop. I stopped chasing that, like that quick play. Man, I can't tell you. I used to be in the sports gambling world. I definitely used to be in there. I used to do the parlays, the $1 to 5,000, or $5 to 25K. It's like, oh, this is the one. I got it. This is the one. Man, I used to be close to sometimes, but that's when I was chasing the money. And even in trading, like when I first started trading, just like most traders, when I got into trading, the money was a driving factor. Like I've tried the pocket option. That's when you basically trade the 1 minute candle, and every minute you close, you either making a profit or a loss. Like I've tried that. I've tried funded accounts. I've tried this and that and so many other things when it comes to trading cryptocurrency. But initially chasing the money. That's the point. That's what I want people to avoid, chasing the money. The money shouldn't be chased at all because it is going to come by default when we have particular systems in place. So here's how I focus on things now. I'm not worried about my P&L. This is just something I just implemented, but off of the knowledge that I've acquired over time about trading influenced me to implement this in my trading. And systematically, it's going to work out in my favor over time as long as I execute the plan. right? And so here I'm referring to my R multiple. The R multiple is just, so if you're risking $5, right, and you take a trade and you win $5, that's a 1R. So that's a 1R. That's what I would put on my trade log, 1R. And right, so if you think about over the course of 10 trades, right, and you have a plus 7R, right, and you've risked, let's say $500, or let's say you've risked $50 per trade, right? So you have a plus 7R and you've risked $50 per trade. So that means you're 7 times greater than what you've risked per trade, right? And so that's $350 versus is your reward versus $50 in that case, right? Just that's systematically though. And so versus looking at the P&L and seeing like, because it doesn't matter how much money you trade with. Like that's the thing that people flip and say that it does. Like it doesn't matter if you're trading with $10 because it all comes down to the mindset and the systems that you have in place. That's what it comes down to. If anybody says differently, they're looking at it from an emotional perspective. Like 100, that's 100%. I will never speak against that statement. If you think about why people do most things, it is for money, whether they're going to school for X amount of years or, putting themselves in debt, right? It's for money, which there's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to trading, money is what I refer to as the lowest hanging fruit. We're talking about, especially Forex, we're talking about a $7 trillion daily market. Nothing flows through the world, through the globe without Forex. So the money is there. It's not going anywhere. You're not going to miss a play. You're not going to miss. There's nothing that you're going to miss. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the craziest part. Think about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, what else is there that's like that? So forget the side hustles. Forget all of that. You need to build a system that buys your time back. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications so you know the next time that we post a video. And, if there's something that you want to hear from me or questions that you have, put it in the comments. I'll get to every single comment. I won't let any comment go unnoticed. But other than that, I appreciate you for staying with me this long. EHM Trades, and I'm out.